So, hey, YouTube audience. So, uh, yeah, I'm not even sure where should I begin with, but the title I chose for this first video of mine is the greatest piece of Indian cinema, or I might rewrite it or edit it, the greatest piece of cinematic content that India has ever produced, the greatest cinematic Indian content, or you get the gist of it. So yeah, I am planning on releasing a bunch of videos in the coming weeks and months to come, but hopefully let's just say weeks for now. But rest assured, I am fully planning on releasing a bunch of videos. So one of those videos, I'm gonna cover a wide range and array of topics, ranging from sports to philosophy to art to space even. So rest assured, it's gonna be quite diverse, to say the least. So the reason I chose this topic to be my first video is because this is a movie that I had recently watched, like almost a couple of weeks back, like 2-3 weeks back, in my home, and I haven't felt such goosebumps and such pleasant shock and sudden surprise ever in a long time. I can't remember the last time I felt such a emotion within me. So the movie that I'm talking about is, the cinematic content which I'm referring to as the greatest, as being the greatest, isn't the whole movie. It's the third part of the whole film, and the whole film is called Ghost Stories, and it's if I'm not mistaken, a 2019 release, and it was produced by Netflix, and it's an anthology film. An anthology film, if you don't know, is where it's different short stories combined together to make a full feature length film, and each short story has its own cast, crew, and unique story, but the overlying theme remains the same in each and every short story. As in this 2019 film called Ghost Stories, by the title of Ghost Stories, refers to the theme of horror, creepiness, sinister, and thriller somewhat, but mostly let's just stick to horror. Let's just stick to this simple one term. And it features the same team that previously worked on a film by the name of Lust Stories, and as the name suggests, it's all about lust, marriage, romance, and some other stuff that I deem inappropriate to say. So yeah, it's the same directors, the same team of 4 directors that worked on Lust Stories previously, that are now collaborating again to work on Ghost Stories. And the director team includes Zoya Akhtar, Anurag Kashyap, Dibakar Banerjee, and Karan Johar, and respectively, like as in the order in which I had stated the names, like Zoya Akhtar directed the first short film, and so on and so forth. And same with Lust Stories. Like the same case is evident in Ghost Stories as well. Like there are 4 short stories, and directed by 4 distinct directors of Indian cinema, And yeah, each short story has its own unique atmosphere, vibe, environment, cast, and yeah, and the overall I would say the film is quite good. I was pleasantly surprised by the whole film, and I was like, low key my expectations were quite low. I was expecting it to be a short disappointment, but it turned out to be more than okay. It turned out to be pretty good, dare I say even great. And the first, quickly I will be going over the quality of the three short films that I am not referring to as the greatest cinematic content by India. The first one by Zoya Akhtar, it stars Janvi Kapoor and another badass um, Indian actor that I don't know the name of. I'm sorry, apologize. And I mean, he's often stereotyped as the Gunda or the bad guy, even. He's not a boy. And there's a Nani that's played by a decorated, accomplished Indian veteran actress, whom again I don't know the name of, but she acted brilliantly in the whole film. Even I would say the whole cast acted brilliantly. It mostly, if I'm not mistaken, it only had these three actors: Janvi Kapoor, the Indian badass bad guy, and the old lady, the old nanny, the old lady. Let's just say lady, because I don't want to say granny and confuse it with another thing that I'm gonna come on later. So yeah, it was pretty good. Had a lackluster, ambiguous, confusing ending, but I would say the whole film was pretty good. It was pretty solid. And the second short film, pardon me, directed by Anurag Kashyap. I mean, as you all know, Anurag Kashyap is a master of disturbing visual, borderline creepy, sort of borderline horror cinema. He's a maestro of it, an expert of it, and he delivers yet again. And this short film, I mean, it really hit me. It really, hit me right in my heart, because it it revolved around the concept that me personally, being a Pakistani, having a Muslim upbringing, Islamic upbringing, Islamic parents, Islamic Muslim, should I say, Muslim grandparents, and Muslim family altogether. Being a Pakistani here, I was introduced to the concept of Nazar, as in the evil bad eye, and how the negative energy of other people, the jealousy of other people negatively impacts the individual. And yeah, I like, it's something I don't really believe in wholeheartedly, but I don't simultaneously I don't disbelieve in it as well. I don't totally discard or discredit this whole belief system, because I somewhat considered it. I mean, not getting too religious or too political, let's just not dive too much into it. But yeah, I was introduced heavily, educated about this topic, because my mother, and especially my grandmother, like as in my mother's mother, my nani or nano, she really believed in it, to the point that she would talk about this concept of nazar, bad, evil eye, like every other day. I mean, whether I was getting good grades, whether I was looking good on that particular day, whether I was wearing good clothes, she would always say, just tone it down a bit. I'm gonna say a phrase in Urdu language, nazar lag jayegi, as in, you will get, or you will attract evil bad eye of other people, which will, harm you very badly. So, this short story, the second one directed by Anurag Kashyap, revolves around the concept of nazar, and at least that's my interpretation of it. And yeah, it was very visually disturbing, and it involved a lot of metaphors, idioms, and yeah, similes, and yeah, a lot of ambiguous stuff left up to the audience's imagination and interpretation. But yeah, it was, I would say, everyone who really watched this short film and understood it would agree with me when I say that it involved around the concept of evil bad eye. And yeah, I don't want to dive into too much detail about any of the three stories. I want to let you guys watch it and decide it for yourself. I'm not even gonna explain the basic outline of the whole story. And but short, the actress who played the mother, or a slight spoiler alert, just skip 10 seconds later on, wannabe mother, or would be mother, she played the character brilliantly. She really did a phenomenal job. Same goes for every other cast member, especially the kid. He really gave off that evil slash innocent, unintentionally evil vibe and look really well, and he played his part really well. And same goes for every other actor. And yeah, I really would praise the costume department which worked on this particular short story, because they really did a phenomenal job. I mean, I don't want to get into too much details and spoil the whole thing. So again, the first one, I would say the second short film which I talked about just right now, directed by Anurag Kashyap, was my second favorite of the whole four-parter film, anthology film, followed by, the one being obviously, which I'm referring to as the greatest Indian cinematic piece of content, which I'm gonna talk about after this one at the very last. So, and the third best, I would say, is the first one, directed by Zoya Akhtar, and my least personal favorite, and the weakest among the four, I would say, is the one directed by Karan Johar. And nothing against the guy. I really love some of his work. My Name is Khan, Student of the Year, and I've heard, at least from my parents, that some of his previous work, some of his classical work, is really top notch as well. And yeah, I was low-key expecting this last short film to be pretty good, but especially after watching the third one, my expectations were really high. But I would say, I can comfortably say, I was thoroughly, not thoroughly, but pretty disappointed, since it isn't all bad. Like, on one hand, in typical Karan Johar fashion, the locations were really awesome, the locations were really breathtaking, and the actors really looked beautiful, really pretty. Mrinal Thakur, I guess that's her name. She, I saw her first in Jersey, the cricket film starring Shahid Kapoor, alongside her. But she did a really good job, I would say. And same goes for the other guy, the male co-star, and all the other cast as well. Like, especially the maids of the home, and the extended families, the you know the parents of the male star. I mean, you would know if you had or have watched the film. I mean, it's a pretty weak film. It had a lackluster story, not an engaging, immersive one like the previous three. And the movie, the whole film, I'm referring to the whole feature film, ended on a sour note, on a underwhelming note. But still, it isn't the worst piece of content I've ever watched. So now I am done with the review of, or my thoughts about the other three short films. Let's go on the third short film that's directed by Dibakar Banerjee. And yeah, it's pretty, I would say. I mean, this is coming from a guy who considers himself to be a pretty big film fanatic, a movie buff. And I mean, truth be spoken, I haven't watched every Indian movie, especially the other Telugu, Tamil films out there. I haven't even watched all the Hindi films, but I've watched my fair share of Indian films, and obviously I've watched other pieces of cinematic films as well, especially Hollywood and from other countries as well. And I'm gonna say it's up there. It's pretty up there. And I don't know why this short film hasn't gotten the credit, not the recognition that it certainly deserves. It's slipped and went under other a lot of people's radar. And yeah, I would say it's underrated, criminally underrated, since I mean it's everything right down. I mean, ranging from the locations, the actors, right down to the costumes. I mean, it was everything that I personally subjectively wanna watch and experience and feel within a film. And the third one, I would say I went in with reasonable expectations and went out with, I mean, with my jaw dropped on the floor, since it was that damn good. Plus, I mean, what more can I say? So I'm gonna dive straight in the story, and the first portion is gonna be a non-spoiler uh, overview of the whole third short film, and later on I'm gonna dive into the spoilers. And don't worry, I'm gonna give the spoiler alert before diving into it. So first and foremost, again non-spoiler, um, the story. So right off the bat, it opens up with a haunting image of haunting yet immersive, spooky yet beautiful. I mean, it's one of those frames, cinematic frames, which it's hard to put into words. It's so many things, yet not so many things at the same time. And it shows a scarecrow, a grass, plain field, and a evening, cloudy evening, and a slight wind blowing the whole scenery. And yeah, it was, I mean, it's still instilled in my memory and will forever be. And it's not even because I've rewatched this third piece of short film so many times, but it got etched in my mind the first time I watched it. And then we are introduced to the male protagonist, if I might say, the electrician who's sent out by his company, if I'm not mistaken, to check the electricity situation, or the malfunctioning electricity situation, as at least that's what we are told, of the small town. Again, in this whole short story revolves around two things: I mean, two words you gotta remember: big town, small town. And we are shown the electrician gets lost, and I'm gonna speed up a bit because I want to wrap the whole video under 30 minutes and not drag it out and dive into too many irrelevant and uh, extra stuff. So without dragging it out too much, the electrician gets lost. He finds the boy. The boy initially looks terrified, but later on he takes the electrician guy to a hut of the small town, and things complicate from there. And we are told that small town is under attack by the people of the big town, and big town people are looking to feed upon the meat and the bodies and the carcasses of the people of small town. And in the film it's shown that the big town people are, and now okay, this is the place where I dive into spoilers. So if you wanna watch the film before knowing my thoughts, you can just skip to, I would say, the 25th minute. Yeah, I'm gonna make it sure that I'm done with the spoilers by the 25th minute. So yeah, now spoiler alert. Now things complicate really further, and it's shown that the big town people are shown and come across as zombies, creatures, inhuman, animalistic or animal like creatures, and they want to feed upon small town, the people of small town. And there are only three conditions in which the people of small town can get away. The one being, if we move they see us, so you better stay put, you better stay hidden and not make a move. And the second one being, if you say something they will see us, so again, stay silent as well, and don't make noises, and don't create a scene. So after moving and speaking, the third one is quite fascinating. If we eat them, they will not eat us. And again, I want to clarify that this whole film was predominantly, almost recorded in Hindi language. So I'm translating it roughly into English. So apologies if I make any mistakes, but I think I'm doing a good enough job. So again, so at the end, the last scene of the film shows that, it's the whole film before the last scene was just imaginary tale, and just a metaphoric showcase of the situation that developed between the people of big town and the people of small town. And the showcase of the big town bring people of big town, the people that are well off, who are much more developed, higher in power and authority. They feed upon, they literally eat the people of small town. And eat and praying is a metaphor, a idiom, or a simile that's used for taking up their lands, rendering them homeless, taking up and literally taking up their resources. So yeah, it's really lately I wasn't expecting such a brilliant ending. I wasn't expecting such a ending, truly. To whoever I have shown this film, the same reaction. I saw the same reaction. As long as they were paying attention, their jaw dropped to the floor. So we are approaching the 25th minute, so done with the spoilers. So yeah, again, the reason I would say I loved this third short film directed by Dibakar Banerjee so much would be, again, this is the non-spoiler portion, so I mean, uh, yeah, it's safe to hear, is that the locations were really breathtaking. The actors, all the actors, I mean, even the child actors, especially the child actors, did a phenomenal job. They aced their roles, and the dialogue delivery, the writing, the dialogues, and the costumes, man, the costumes. I mean, the costumes were really brilliant. They were really, really brilliant, especially for Indian film. And the reason I'm saying Indian film in a degrading, which may come across as a degrading or a derogatory way, is that Indian films don't nearly have the same budget as a top tier Hollywood film does. So yet they did a phenomenal job. They were nothing less of a Hollywood production. The costumes and the whole feature length film, but especially the third film. And I can say I might be biased towards this because even though as I previously mentioned, I'm a huge fan of films and movies, of cinema, and I appreciate all kinds, all types, all genres of films and movies. But my personal taste, or my favorite taste, is, or my cup of tea is thriller, spooky, creepy, mystery, borderline horror films. And this third film, short film, had all of that in spades. So I mean, it's just my own personal subjective opinion, and it's just one guy's opinion. And it's not a stat that I'm sharing, or it's not a poll that I had on that I shared with you guys. It's just my personal opinion. Like, if someone asks me of the greatest, which or what is the greatest piece of Indian content, Indian cinema, India cinematic content that I have ever watched, I would say the third short film of the Indian Netflix produced anthology horror film by the name of Ghost Stories, released in 2019, and the third short film directed by Dibakar Banerjee. And yeah, I mean it's something that you should at least watch and give it a fair chance and a fair shot. And yeah, I can say with a lot of surety and certainty that as long as you pay full attention and you try to understand, you will not be disappointed. And yeah, I mean, if you made it this far, I'm pretty sure you would have had, or at least are gonna watch this film, so I highly recommend it. So yeah, I just wanna wrap it in a minute. So yeah, as the YouTube title suggests, says, my name's Shujat Adil. I just turned 20 a few days back, 10 days back, in fact. So yeah, I previously had a YouTube channel. I uploaded a bunch of videos over there, like 40-50 minute self-improvement philosophical videos that I later turned down, that I later myself deleted, because I said some stuff that I fully believed in at that time, but later on I disagreed with. So I was like, it's not something I believe it anymore, so no point in keeping it public and having it up there on YouTube. So it was a long time back, almost, I would say, more than a year back. So I had planned on starting a YouTube channel again, and now I'm starting it. So yeah, I expect to watch a lot of stuff later on as well. Take care. Bye bye.